General, let's talk about countries taking on their own autonomy. You are on African soil, not for the first time, but this would be a good moment to ask about one of the countries that has taken its own autonomy, and that's Burkina Faso. Yeah. Your remarks recently at the Senate seem to suggest that he's diverting, that's General Traore, is diverting its 4 billion gold reserves to sustain his military rule rather than for public welfare. These remarks sparked widespread condemnation across the continent. What did you mean by that statement?
Let me speak to Burkina Faso's sovereignty. They maintain their sovereignty. They make their decisions how they use their resources. They make their decisions who their resources go to for military support. That's their sovereign right. But my cautionary tale was just from a military perspective. That was a Senate Armed Services Committee asking me a direct question. Burkina Faso, a lot of great things going on to progress them forward, okay? But then when you look at the military part of it, knowing that that's the epicenter of global terrorism, it was my time to illuminate that this is probably their weakest point, and there needs to be sufficient resources going towards for the whole fight of terrorism in that country, period. They make their decisions, though. That's their sovereignty, their sovereign right to make their decisions, what is appropriate, what's not. But I wanted to illuminate that is going in the wrong direction now. ISIS is getting stronger. JNIM is getting stronger. Al-Qaeda in the lands of the Maghreb is getting stronger in that country.
And do you think it's getting stronger after General Traore took over?
It has. Just look at the numbers of attacks. It really has, since 2022. I've been tracking this since I took command. So, no ill will towards him, but the decisions is their own. They're looking for other ways to be able to, they're still on warfighting footing, but it's just going to take more resources.
So you stand by that statement? Because there's been pressure on you to walk those statements back.
That's my statement. That's my assessment. That is getting worse. More needs to be done for not just local, but whole of country, because of these violent extremist organizations are seeking revenue, they're seeking resources, they're seeking recruiting from the Burkinabe people, and they're seeking refuge within their country. That threatens their sovereignty.
And that threatens America's interest?
Say again?
Does that then threaten America's interests?
Yes, thank you for asking that. Because especially ISIS, and of course in East Africa is inextricably linked all the way to ISIS West Africa, ISIS Sahel, and there's going to be probably a move afoot for them to move and seek refuge within the line. So we have shared objectives, and we offer to work together with the Burkinabe government and border countries. Mali, Niger, coastal West Africa countries, collective, because here's what these organizations do. Here's what these terrorist organizations do. They seek refuge in the seams or the borders of these countries and lets them thrive and grow and lets them recruit, gain resources to carry on their illicit and nefarious activities against the populations of those people.
And what would America, perhaps AFRICOM, be prepared to do? Would you be considering an ouster like we saw with Muammar Gaddafi in Libya? Because there's still many Africans who are yet to recover from that. If this is a bigger threat, as you say, in Burkina Faso, what is AFRICOM prepared to do about it?
We do indications and warnings. There's a number of activities that we do, and we'll just...
Michael E. Langely is in the news again, and this time around he's actually commending Burkina Faso for, development and projects that are going on in the country. He thinks that a lot are going on in the country to help the people in that cause. But then one would still ask, why then did you say what you said, that the president is using the gold reserve of about $4 billion to sustain his military regime? If you think there are a lot that are ongoing in the country, then that question would not be necessary. So when he was asked, in Kenya, about why he said that, and if he still stands by it, yes, he made that admission that, yes, he said that, and that he said was actually a cautionary tale, because Burkina Faso actually is a sovereign state. They have the power or the authority to deal with whichever country, whichever nation that they want to deal with, and then who they even want to give their resources to in return for military support and all those kind of stuff. But what he said was a cautionary tale, so to speak. And so the moment that comes in, then it means that when we say a cautionary tale, that means somebody is actually making some bad choices that you believe that the result will be kind of bad for the person. That is when a cautionary tale would come in. And he also went ahead to say that Burkina Faso really, kind of need AFRICOMs because they have a shared objective by protecting the borders, because he thinks that since 2022 that Ibrahim Traore took over, there have been series of attacks, and actually the numbers have increased. The number of attacks have increased because he believes that the violent extremist groups are actually working so hard to, get into Burkina Faso and its neighboring countries, Mali, Niger, he mentioned specifically. So he thinks that AFRICOMs need to come in, and that they have this shared objective of ensuring in the longer future that the youth of Africa would have a sustained development, would have peace in the future, would have everything brighter in the future for them to take advantage of the opportunities that there would be. So he thinks that it is not out of place, because AFRICOM really needs to be a part of it. And then question about the American interest vis-a-vis the Chinese and Russians' connection with African communities like Burkina Faso and its neighboring countries. He said, yes, that influence is really a border to them. And you could sense that. So does that mean that America needs those resources of Burkina Faso in return for military supplies and protection, or what have you, and those kind of stuff? Is that the case that Michael E. Langely, the AFRICOM's commander, is seeking to achieve with that? But so you see that there are kind of some puzzles around that kind of statement that he made, so which needs critical thinking to decipher and then make some connections. If that indeed that America really wants that resources so that they are able to give that protection that they need, or what is the interest that America needs so much that they have to be in that position to provide that support to Burkina Faso and then its neighboring countries. Since he's saying seriously that 2022 coming when Traore took over, the crime rates and then the invasion and attacks have increased, then everybody will seem to believe that what is happening Is he really telling the truth, or it's because of their interest and where Burkina Faso has pulled itself from certain alliances and commitment that was existing before, of course, which America was part, or what? That they think they really need to reconnect all those dots? Guys, what do you also think? Let me know what you think in the comment section. This is Authentic Plus TV. Kindly subscribe and share this video. Thank you.